I'm going to tell you something that nobody else will say out loud because they're afraid of offending you. There's an invisible prison that most people live in their entire lives, and they don't even know the bars are there. It's called low income, and it's not just about the number in your bank account. It's about the thoughts in your head, the habits you repeat every single day, and the stories you keep telling yourself about why things are the way they are. Now here's the kicker. Breaking out of this prison has nothing to do with luck, connections, or some secret handshake the wealthy people know. It has everything to do with understanding how this prison was built in the first place and making a conscious decision to walk out of it. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that step by step, starting right now. Let me ask you something, and I want you to be honest with yourself. Do you ever look at your bank account and feel this weight in your chest? This anxiety that shows up every time a bill comes in? Do you ever think to yourself, I'm doing everything right, so why am I still struggling? You wake up, you go to work, you come home tired, you repeat it all over again, and at the end of the month there's barely anything left. Meanwhile, you see people around you, some who seem less educated, less hardworking, less deserving, if we're being really honest, and they're doing fine. They're taking vacations. They're not stressed about money. And you're sitting there thinking, what am I missing? What's wrong with me? And let me tell you right now, there is nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You're not lazy. You're not cursed. You're just operating with a set of instructions that were designed to keep you exactly where you are. See, here's what most people don't understand about being low income. It's not actually about how much money you make. I know people who make 6 figures a year and they're still low income because they spend every penny and live paycheck to paycheck. And I know people who make modest incomes, but they've built systems and habits that allow them to grow wealth steadily over time. So what's the real difference? The real difference is your financial thermostat. Stay with me here because this is important. You have a thermostat in your house that regulates temperature, right? If it gets too hot, the thermostat kicks in and cools things down. If it gets too cold, it heats things up. Your mind has the exact same thing for money. You have a set point, a comfort zone, a level of income and wealth that feels normal to you. And here's the fascinating part. Whenever you start to exceed that set point, your subconscious mind will sabotage you to bring you back down. And whenever you drop below it, your mind will push you to get back up to that level. This is why lottery winners go broke. This is why people who get big raises end up spending it all. This is why you can work your tail off and still end up in the same place year after year. Your thermostat is set to low income, and until you change that setting, nothing else will matter. Now let me give you some evidence for this. There was a study done on people who grew up in poverty versus people who grew up in middle class or wealthy households, and they found something incredible. The people who grew up poor had completely different neural pathways around money. Their brains literally processed financial decisions differently. When faced with money choices, the poverty group showed more activity in the parts of the brain associated with threat and survival, while the wealthy group showed more activity in the parts associated with planning and opportunity. In other words, if you grew up with scarcity, your brain is wired to see money as something to survive with, not something to build with. And that wiring is running in the background every single day, making your decisions for you. Here's another piece of evidence. Researchers found that people tend to earn within 15% of the average income of their 5 closest friends. 15%. That's not coincidence. That's not accident. That's your environment programming your thermostat. If everyone around you makes $30,000 a year, your brain says that's normal, that's safe, that's what people like us make. And even if you consciously want more, your subconscious is going to keep you tethered to that average because that's what feels right to you at a deep level. So how do you break out? How do you reprogram this thermostat that's been set since childhood? Well, I'm going to give you a framework that's going to change everything if you actually apply it. I call it the 5 shifts. These are 5 fundamental changes you need to make in how you think, how you behave, and how you operate in the world. And the beautiful thing is, you can start making these shifts today. Not when you have more money, not when conditions are perfect, today. The first shift is from consumer to creator. Right now, if you're low income, I can almost guarantee you that you spend most of your time and energy consuming things. Consuming entertainment, consuming food, consuming products, consuming content. You work all day to make money, and then you spend your evenings and weekends consuming things that cost money. You're on the hamster wheel. Work to consume, consume to feel better about work, work to consume some more. Wealthy people do something different. They create value. They produce things. They build things. They solve problems. And here's what's interesting. When you shift from being a consumer to being a creator, your brain starts to rewire itself. You start seeing opportunities everywhere instead of just seeing things to buy. So here's your first action step. Stop consuming for 1 hour a day and create something instead. I don't care what it is. Write something, build something, record something, draw something, code something. Just shift 1 hour of your day from consumption to creation. That's it. Just 1 hour. The second shift is from expense thinking to investment thinking. Low-income people think in terms of expenses. How much does this cost? Can I afford this? Is this too expensive? Wealthy people think in terms of investments. Will this make me money? Will this save me time? Will this make me more valuable? See, when you buy a $200 course that teaches you a skill you can charge for, that's not an expense, that's an investment. When you buy a cheap pair of shoes that fall apart in 3 months, that's actually more expensive than buying a quality pair that lasts 3 years. But most people can't see past the immediate price tag. So here's your second action step. Before you spend money on anything this week, ask yourself, is this an expense or an investment? Is this taking me closer to where I want to be or further away? And start making decisions based on the answer to that question. The third shift is from waiting to initiating. Low-income people wait for things to happen to them. They wait for a raise. They wait for a better opportunity. They wait for someone to notice them. They wait for permission. They wait for the right time. Meanwhile, years are passing by. Wealthy people initiate. They ask for the raise. They create the opportunity. They put themselves out there. They give themselves permission. They make the time right by taking action. And here's what most people don't realize. The world rewards initiation. When you initiate, you immediately separate yourself from 90% of people who are just waiting around hoping things will change. So here's your third action step. Initiate one thing this week that you've been waiting on. Ask for that raise. Apply for that position. Reach out to that person. Start that project. Just one thing. Stop waiting. The fourth shift is from isolated to connected. This is huge, and most people completely overlook this. Low-income people tend to be isolated. They don't have strong networks. They don't know people in different industries or at different income levels. They're disconnected from opportunities because opportunities flow through people. Wealthy people understand that your network is your net worth. Every connection is a potential opportunity. Every relationship is a potential collaboration. Every conversation is a potential door opening. So they invest time in building and maintaining relationships with diverse groups of people. Here's your fourth action step. Reach out to 3 people this week who are doing better financially than you are, not to ask for money, not to beg for a job, just to learn from them. Ask them to coffee. Ask them for a 15-minute call. Ask them what they're reading, what they're learning, how they think about money. Most successful people love sharing what they know with people who are genuinely interested in learning. The fifth shift, and this one is critical, is from fixed to growth. Low-income people have what psychologists call a fixed mindset. They believe they are who they are, and that's just how it is. I'm not good with money. I'm not a business person. I'm not smart enough. I'm not lucky enough. I'm just not that type of person. Every one of those statements is a prison bar. Wealthy people have a growth mindset. They believe they can learn anything, become anything, achieve anything with enough time and effort. They see failure as feedback. They see challenges as opportunities to grow. They see their current situation as temporary, not permanent. So here's your fifth action step. Catch yourself every time you say or think something that limits you. Every time you say, I can't, I'm not, or I'll never. Stop yourself and add the word yet. I'm not good with money yet. I don't have those skills yet. I'm not there yet. That one word changes everything because it implies that change is possible, that growth is happening, that you're on a journey instead of stuck in a box. Now, let me tell you something that might surprise you. Breaking out of low income is not about making one giant leap. It's not about winning the lottery or landing some dream job or having some massive breakthrough moment. It's about making small, consistent decisions every single day that are aligned with the person you want to become instead of the person you've been. It's about choosing to create for 1 hour instead of consume. It's about seeing purchases as investments. It's about initiating instead of waiting. It's about building connections instead of staying isolated. It's about believing you can grow instead of believing you're stuck. Do that every day for a year, and you will be unrecognizable. Your income will be different. Your opportunities will be different. Your entire life will be different. And I know what some of you are thinking right now. That sounds great, but you don't understand my situation. I've got bills. I've got responsibilities. I've got people depending on me. I don't have the luxury of taking risks or trying new things. And I hear you. I really do. But let me ask you this. How's playing it safe working out for you so far? How's doing what you've always done getting you? If you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. And 5 years from now, you're going to be in the exact same place, having the exact same conversation with yourself. Or you can decide right now, today, that you're done accepting low income as your reality. Here's something else I want you to understand. The economy, the job market, the system, whatever you want to call it, it's designed to keep most people at the bottom. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's just how hierarchical systems work. There's a small group at the top, a slightly larger group in the middle, and a massive group at the bottom. And the system needs people at the bottom to function. It needs workers. It needs consumers. It needs people who trade their time for just enough money to survive, but not enough to escape. So if you're waiting for the system to save you, you're going to be waiting forever. The system is not designed to elevate you. You have to elevate yourself. You have to take responsibility for your own financial education, your own skill development, your own network building, your own mindset shifts. Nobody's coming to rescue you, and that's actually good news, because it means you don't have to wait for permission. You can start right now. Let me share something with you that changed my life years ago. I realized that poor people have big televisions and small libraries. Wealthy people have big libraries and small televisions. That hit me like a ton of bricks. I looked around my apartment at the time, and sure enough, the biggest thing I owned was my TV and my bookshelf, maybe 5 books, most of which I hadn't read. I was spending hours every day consuming entertainment and 0 time investing in my own growth. So I made a decision. I started reading every single day, 30 minutes minimum. Books about money, about business, about psychology, about success. And within 6 months, my income had doubled. Not because the books gave me some magic formula, but because reading every day rewired my brain. It exposed me to new ideas, new possibilities, new ways of thinking. It raised my financial thermostat. So here's what I want you to do right now. Turn off Netflix, put down your phone, and invest 30 minutes in yourself. Read a book about money. Watch educational content about building wealth. Listen to a podcast about people who've done what you want to do 30 minutes a day. That's it. Do that for a year, and you'll consume over 180 hours of content that could change your life. That's the equivalent of 4 full-time work weeks dedicated to reprogramming your mind. Most people will spend that same time watching reality TV and scrolling social media and then wonder why their reality never changes. And look, I get it. Change is uncomfortable. Growth is uncomfortable. Looking at yourself honestly and admitting that your current results are the product of your current thinking and habits, that's uncomfortable. It's much easier to blame the economy, your boss, your parents, the government, bad luck, whatever. But blame doesn't change anything. Blame keeps you stuck. Responsibility, on the other hand, responsibility is power. When you take responsibility for where you are, you also claim the power to change where you're going. Here's your challenge, and I want you to take this seriously. For the next 30 days, I want you to implement just one of the 5 shifts I gave you. Pick the one that resonated most with you. Maybe it's creating for 1 hour a day. Maybe it's thinking about investments instead of expenses. Maybe it's initiating something you've been putting off. Maybe it's reaching out to build connections. Maybe it's catching your limiting beliefs and adding the word yet. Pick one and commit to it for 30 days. That's it. Don't try to change everything at once. Just pick one shift and make it a daily practice. And at the end of those 30 days, come back and tell me what changed. Tell me how you feel different. Tell me what opportunities showed up. Tell me how your income changed, because it will. And if you got value from this video, here's what I need you to do. Hit that subscribe button, because I'm going to keep giving you the truth about money and success that nobody else is willing to say. Drop a comment below and tell me which of the 5 shifts you're going to start with. Are you going to shift from consumer to creator? From expense to investment thinking? From waiting to initiating? From isolated to connected? From fixed to growth? Tell me in the comments, because when you declare it publicly, you're 10 times more likely to follow through. And if you know someone who's stuck in low income and needs to hear this message, share this video with them. Be the person who plants the seed that changes their entire trajectory. Remember this, being low income is not your identity. It's just your current location, and locations can change. You can move. You can grow. You can break out. But only if you make the decision that you're done settling for less than you're capable of. Only if you take responsibility for your growth. Only if you do the work that most people aren't willing to do. The prison door is unlocked. It's always been unlocked. The question is, are you finally ready to walk out? I believe you are. Now prove it. Take one shift. Commit to 30 days. And watch your entire world transform. I'll see you in the next video.